Okay, we're going to look at multiplying with fractions. So actually this is a lot easier than adding and subtracting. So if you have two fractions like 3/4 times 1/10 and you have to multiply them, you simply multiply the two top numbers. So this time it would be 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 10 equals 40. And that's it done. Another example, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 2, 16. 7 times 3, 21. 10 times 5, 50. That's what I want to look at. 9 times 4 is 36. 11 times 15 is actually 165. And obviously for this kind of one you would maybe want to use your calculator if you weren't sure. Occasionally you'll notice that none of these fractions that were the answers would cancel down. Sometimes you'll get a question that will cancel down and you have to use your skills of cancelling a fraction, which means dividing top and bottom by the same number. So we'll do a couple of those now. If we had a half times 6/10. So 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 10 is 20. So you've got 6/20, which is a good answer. But what you should be able to do is what's called cancel the fraction down, simplify the fraction. So you look at the two numbers 6 and 20 and you think, what goes into them? Well, 2 definitely goes into them and there's nothing bigger than 2. So we'll divide those numbers by 2 and you get 3/10. Now you don't always have to cancel, it's only because this one does cancel. The previous questions we did, they would not cancel. So the best answer is 3/10. So what if we had 3/4 times 4/5? So 3 4s are 12. 4 times 5 is 20. Now, you look at these two numbers and you realise they're both even, so definitely 2 would go into them. But also this time, 4 would go into both of these numbers. So when you're cancelling a fraction, if you remember, you always choose the biggest number that will go in. So 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 20 5 times. And the best answer is 3/5. Try another one. 9/10 times 1/3. So 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 3 is 30. Got this answer 9/30, which is the answer, but we're going to try and cancel it to make it a more simplified. Now you look at the two numbers. This is an odd number, so 2 will not go into 9, but 3 will go into 9, and 3 will also go into 30. And you might want to just go through and see if anything bigger than 3 goes in, but actually it doesn't. So 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 30 10 times. We'll do one more example. Say 2/5 times 5/10. So 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 10 is 50. Now, when you look at these numbers, you should recognise that they both end in a 0. So 10 will divide into these numbers and nothing bigger than 10. So 10 into 10 goes 1 time. 10 into 50 goes 5 times. So Just to kind of recap on what we're doing. When you're multiplying fractions, you multiply two top numbers. You then multiply the two bottom numbers. And then sometimes you have to cancel a fraction. Not always. Only cancel if it is possible. Okay.